Okay, Mataji.
So Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Sloka of the Bhagavatam series, where we're actually reading the Bhagavatam on Sunday. So today we'll continue and actually finish chapter 4 of the first canto, which describes the circumstances under which Sri Narada Muni actually appears in Vyasadeva's life. So when the student or the disciple is stressed out or anxious or unhappy, then the Guru must come to correct his understanding or correct the path and change the trajectory of what is about to happen. So we read last week that Vyasadeva had assigned the compilation of the Vedas to different professors, as Prabhupada calls them in the purport, different rishis who took responsibility for expanding on these Vedic scriptures. And even after all of this, Srila Vyasadeva was not getting that sense of satisfaction of having done something monumental. So the shloka that we left at was shloka number 27 last week, where Sutta Goswami is telling the sages in Naimisharanya, O twice born Brahmanas, still his mind was not satisfied, although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all people. Thus the sage, being dissatisfied at heart, at once began to reflect, because he knew the essence of religion, and he said within himself. So today we will continue from shloka number 28 to the last shloka of this chapter, which is actually shloka number 33. So the two shlokas are clubbed together. So we'll start with shlokas 28 and 29. धृतव्रतेन हि मया
धृतव्रतेन हि मया
छन्दांसि गुरवोऽज्ञयः
छन्दांसि गुरवोऽज्ञयः
मानिता निर्व्यलीकेन
मानिता निर्व्यलीकेन
गृहीतं चानुशासनम्
गृहीतं चानुशासनम्
भारतव्यपदेशेन
भारतव्यपदेशेन
ह्याम्नायार्थश्च प्रदर्शितः
ह्याम्नायार्थश्च प्रदर्शितः
दृश्यते यत्र धर्मादि
दृश्यते यत्र धर्मादि
स्त्रीशूद्रादिभिरप्युत
स्त्रीशूद्रादिभिरप्युत.
Forward meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Dhrita Vratena.
Dhrita Vratena.
Under a strict disciplinary vow.
Under a strict disciplinary vow.
He. Certainly. Maya. By me. Chandamsi. The Vedic hymns. Guravaha. Spiritual masters. Agnayaha. The sacrificial fire. Manitaha. Properly worshipped. Nirvyalikena. Without pretense. Grihitam cha. Also accepted. Anushasanam. Traditional discipline. Bharata. The Mahabharata. Vyapadeshena. By compilation of. He. Certainly. Amnaya arthaha.
Amnaya Arthaha.
Import of disciplic succession.
Import of disciplic succession.
Cha.
Cha.
And. Pradarshitaha.
Pradarshitaha.
Properly explained.
Properly explained.
Drishyate.
Drishyate.
By what is necessary.
By what is necessary.
Yatra.
Yatra.
Where. Karma adihi.
Dharma adihi.
The path of religion.
The path of religion.
Stri Shudra Adibhihi api.
Stri Shudra Adibhihi api.
Even by women, Shudras, etc.
Even by women, Shudras, etc.
Uta.
Uta.
Spoken.
Spoken.
Translation. I have. Under strict disciplinary vows.
Under strict disciplinary vows.
Unpretentiously worshipped the Vedas.
Unpretentiously worshipped the Vedas.
The spiritual masters.
The spiritual masters.
And the altar of sacrifice.
And the altar of sacrifice.
I have also abided.
I have also abided
By the rulings.
By the rulings.
And have shown the import.
And have shown the import.
Of disciplic succession.
Of disciplic succession.
Through the explanation of the Mahabharata.
Through the explanation of the Mahabharata.
By which even women.
Shudras
and others.
Friends
of the twice born. Can see the path of religion. But no one can understand the import of the Vedas without having undergone a strict disciplinary vow and disciplic succession. So Prabhupada is explaining that even to understand the Vedas, you have to have a strictly regulated life and you must be learning under the Guru Shishya system. The Vedas, spiritual masters, and sacrificial fire must be worshipped by the desiring candidate. Not only are you worshipping the book of knowledge, you're worshipping Guru and you're worshipping the sacrificial fire for those who want to understand the Supreme Personality of God. All these intricacies of Vedic knowledge are systematically presented in the Mahabharata for the understanding of the woman class, the laborer class, and the unqualified members of Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya families. In this age, the Mahabharata is more essential than the original Vedas. So Prabhupada is explaining, as we have discovered, that Vyasadeva himself, who could understand that in Kali Yuga, that the people would have less intelligence, less memory power, less capability, a shortened lifespan. Therefore, some adjustments had to be made as to how people in Kali Yuga could still understand the essence of Vedas, even though they may not have developed the capacity to study the Vedas. So the alternative to studying the Vedas is the Mahabharata. And of course, within the Mahabharata is housed the Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, the Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic scriptures. So, in essence, we need not study the Vedic scriptures, the Vedas as they are, as Srila Vyasadeva split it into 4 divisions. We, because of our condition in Kali Yuga, every age there is a degradation in intelligence, in memory power, in lifespan, etc. That's just the nature of how these yugas were designed. And since Kali Yuga is deemed to be the most abominable of the 4 yugas, then of course, the level of appreciation for scriptures would have also reduced. Therefore, scriptures themselves had to be simplified. That being said, it is not that easy to understand even the Bhagavad Gita. Even though the Bhagavad Gita was meant specifically for us, we still struggle with understanding the Bhagavad Gita. So anyway, it's Vyasadeva's reflection on what all he has done so far and how compassionate he has been, thinking about the Kali Yuga Vasis and what adjustments need to be made to still help them pursue the spiritual path. Which brings us to shloka number 30. Tathapi bata me daihyaha
तथापि बत मे दह्यः
yatma chaivatmana vibhuh
ह्यात्मा चैवात्मना विभुः
asampanna iva bhati
असम्पन्न इव भाति
brahmavarchasya sattamaha.
ब्रह्मवर्चस्य सत्तमः.
Meanings tathapi,
तथापि,
although,
although,
bata,
but,
defect,
defect,
may,
may,
mind,
mind,
daihyaha,
daihyaha,
situated in the body,
situated in the body,
he,
certainly,
atma,
atma,
living being,
cha,
and,
eva,
even, atmana, myself, vibhuhu, sufficient, asampannaha, wanting in, iva abhati, it appears to be, brahmavarchasya, of the Vedantists, Sattamaha, the Supreme. Translation: I am feeling incomplete, though I myself am fully equipped with everything required by the Vedas. So Prabhupada writes, undoubtedly, Srila Vyasadeva was complete in all the details of Vedic achievements. Purification of the living being submerged in matter is made possible by the prescribed activities in the Vedas. But the ultimate achievement is different. Unless it is attained, the living being, even though fully equipped, cannot be situated at the transcendently normal stage. Srila Vyasadeva appeared to have lost the clue and therefore felt dissatisfaction. So, essentially, Vyasadeva was feeling morose. Somehow, that sense of dissatisfaction was plaguing him. And let us see what he feels in shloka number 31. Kim va bhagavata dharma na prayena nirupitaha priyah paramahamsanam na eva hyachyuta priyah. Meanings kim va, or bhagavatah dharmah,
Bhagavata Dharmaha.
Devotional activities of the living beings.
Devotional activities of the living beings.
Na,
Na,
not.
not.
Prayena,
Prayena,
almost.
almost.
Nirupitaha,
Nirupitaha.
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 Directed.
Directed.
Priyaha,
Priyaha.
dear.
Dear.
Paramahamsanam,
Paramahamsana.
of the perfect beings.
Of the perfect beings.
Te eva,
Te eva.
that also.
That also.
He,
He.
certainly.
Certainly.
Achyuta,
Achyuta.
the infallible.
The infallible.
Priyaha,
Priyaha.
attractive.
Attractive.
Translation. This may be
This may be
because I did not specifically point out
specifically point out
the devotional service of the Lord,
the devotional service of the Lord,
which is dear
which is dear
both to perfect
bo-
beings
both to perfect beings
and to the infallible Lord.
and to the infallible Lord.
The dissatisfaction which was being felt by Srila Vyasadeva is expressed herein in his own words. This was felt for the normal condition of the living being in the devotional service of the Lord. Unless one is fixed in the normal condition of service, neither the Lord nor the living being can become fully satisfied. The defect was felt by him when Narada Muni, his spiritual master, reached him. It is described as follows. Here, Srila Vyasadeva seems to have hit the nail on the head as to what it is that he had not written about. He had not written about Bhakti Yoga. So he was wondering, that's probably why I don't feel satisfied. Because after all, the actual Vedic scriptures are a lot of technical information, technical things we have to do, things that we should avoid. So many rules, so many restrictions, so many regulations. So Srila Vyasadeva seems to have understood what was lacking in the compilations that had been completed so far. And therefore, here comes his guru in shloka number 32. Tasyaivam khilamatmanam
Tasyaivam khilam atmanam
manyamanasya khidyatah
manyamanasya kidyatah
krishnasya naradobhyagat
Krishnasya narado bhyagad
ashramam pragudahritam.
ashramam pragudahritam
Hasya,
astasya
his,
his
evam,
evam
thus,
thus
khilam,
khilam
inferior,
inferior
atmanam,
atmanam
soul,
soul
manya manasya,
manya manasya
thinking within the mind,
thinking within the mind
khidyataha,
kidyatah
regretting,
regretting
krishnasya,
krishnasya
of Krishna Dvaipayana, Vyasa,
of Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa
Naradaha abhyagat.
Naradaha abhyagat
Narada came there,
Narada came there
ashramam,
ashramam
the cottage,
the cottage
prak,
prak
before,
before
udahritam,
udahridam
said.
said.
Translation. As mentioned before,
As mentioned before,
Narada reached the cottage
Narada reached the cottage
of Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa
of Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa
on the banks of the Saraswati,
on the banks of the Saraswati,
just as Vyasadeva
just as Vyasadeva
was regretting his defects.
was regretting his defects.
But the vacuum felt by Vyasadeva was not due to his lack of knowledge. Bhagavata Dharma is purely devotional service of the Lord, to which the monist has no access. The monist is not counted among the Paramahamsas, the most perfect of the renounced order of life. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of narrations of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Although Vyasadeva was an empowered divinity, he still felt dissatisfaction because in none of his works were the transcendental activities of the Lord properly explained. The inspiration was infused by Sri Krishna directly in the heart of Vyasadeva, and thus he felt the vacuum as explained above. It is definitely expressed herewith that without the transcendental loving service of the Lord, everything is void. But in the transcendental service of the Lord, everything is tangible without any separate attempt at fruitive work or empiric philosophical speculation. So the word Vyasa is actually a title, someone who has the capacity and the intelligence to compile literary works. But the actual name of Vyasadeva is Krishna Dvaipayana. But Vyasa is actually a title. But in our culture, we simply know him as Vyasadeva. So Prabhupada is stating here that even though Srila Vyasadeva is considered to be the literary incarnation of the Lord, in the sense he was an empowered Jivatma with a special potency given to him to describe the Vedas and also to compile the essence of all Vedic scriptures as well. It is just that Krishna put him in that position of being dissatisfied so that the Guru could arrive and set things right. Just as Krishna put Arjuna in a bit of a quandary in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, with Arjuna stating, I don't think I should fight. I'm not sure if this is a good thing, killing my own family, etc., etc. So that Krishna could speak the Bhagavad Gita to his dear devotee Arjuna. So similarly, Vyasadeva was similarly put into this condition by Krishna himself so that his spiritual master, Narada Muni, can come and speak to him and reveal and confirm the truth that Vyasadeva had already arrived at. That brings us to the last shloka of chapter 4 of Canto 1, which is titled Appearance of Sri Narada. So for 33 shlokas, Narada Muni has not appeared. He finally appears at the end of this chapter. Tam abhijnaya sahasa
Tam abhignaya sahasa
pratyuthaya gatam munihi
pratyuthaya gatam munihi
pujayamasa vidhivan
pujayam asa vidhivan
Naradam surapujitam.
Naradam surapujitam
Tam abhijnaya.
Tam abhignaya,
Seeing the good fortune of his arrival.
seeing the good fortune of his arrival.
Whose arrival? Narada Muni's arrival. Sahasa.
Sahasa,
All of a sudden.
all of a sudden.
Pratyuthaya.
Pratyuthaya,
Getting up.
getting up.
Agatam,
Agatam,
arrived at.
arrived at.
Munihi,
Munihi,
Vyasadeva,
Vyasadeva,
Pujayam, asa,
Pujayam, asa,
worship.
worship.
Vidhivat,
Vidhivat,
with the same respect as offered to Vidhi, Brahma.
with the same respect as offered to Vidhi, Brahma.
Naradam,
Naradam,
to Narada.
to Narada.
Sura Pujitam,
Sura Pujitam,
worshipped by the demigods.
worshipped by the demigods.
Translation. At the auspicious arrival of Sri Narada,
At the auspicious arrival of Sri Narada,
Sri Vyasadeva
Sri Vyasadeva
got up respectfully
got up respectfully
and worshipped him,
and worshipped him,
giving him veneration
giving him veneration
equal to that
equal to that
given to Brahmaji, the creator.
given to Brahmaji, the creator.
The proper mood of a disciple is to welcome his spiritual master and by worshipping him. Prabhupada writes, Vidhi means Brahma, the first created living being. He is the original student as well as the professor of the Vedas. Who is the first student in the cosmos? Brahma. As the Jivatma, he is the first person to learn the Vedas directly from Vishnu. Therefore, he is considered the original professor of the Vedas. He learned it from Sri Krishna and taught Narada first. So, after learning the Vedas from the Lord himself, he then teaches his own son, Narada. So, Narada is the second Acharya in the line of spiritual disciplic succession. He is the representative of Brahma, and therefore he is respected exactly like Brahma, the father of all vidhis, regulations. Similarly, all other successive disciples in the chain are also equally respected as representatives of the original spiritual master. That means in the Guru Parampara system, all gurus have to be offered the same respect because they are all ultimately representatives of Brahma and then, of course, Krishna. With that, we come to the conclusion of chapter 4 of Canto 1 and Prabhupada's purpose with this chapter that is titled The Appearance of Sri Narada. So next week, we will most likely not have a class because we are going to be busy with